Hey everybody, it's Mary. I'm back here with another Midlife Chronicles. Today, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and there's a lot of unhappiness, a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. So today I have been journaling a lot lately about fear or, just kind of being scared or uncomfortable, like uncertainty. I think that's maybe a better word for it, uncertainty. So I wanted to address how to deal with worry when your mind just won't stop. It just won't stop. It keeps remunerating over things, the same things over and over again. To be able to stop and take a look at that stuff and possibly use it for good. Believe it or not, worry can be used for good, but you have to pay attention to it. And I think that a lot of times worry has a lesson for us, but we're looking in the wrong direction because we're over here in worry, dread, fear, anxiety, when not all the time, but some of the time, a lot of the time, actually 92% of the time is what the statistics say, and I'll talk about that in a minute, about how we can divert our thoughts and use this worry, this anxiety to create a path for us in our journey, in our journey to our goal, or I like to think of it as the next best version of myself. Like I'm always trying to up the ante on myself. Like if I'm upping the ante on myself, then everything is eventually going to fall into place because I'm going to be excited about myself. I'm going to be paying attention to myself, seeing the growth in myself instead of focusing on how my life sucks or how scared I am or how stuck I am or how the world is going to hell in a handbasket and I don't know what to do about it or where to go. So hopefully this over the next, 10, 15, 20 minutes. I don't know how long this is going to last. I'm going to share some thoughts with you about worry and what to do with it, how to divert it. Now, some of this I'm going to be reading because I want to make sure that I touch on all of these points about worry and what to do about it. So, a lot of times worry makes us look at things as impossible. And that's not always true. Bad things happen. Always. Like just because I'm older doesn't mean that I'm free from bad things happening. How can I pay attention? How can I pay attention to that? How can I look to my past and look at how I survived and got through that and the lessons that I learned? I've talked about that before in a previous video if you want to head back to that. But so this worry, right, it's going to affect all areas of our life. It just isn't us remunerating stuff over and over again in our heads and staying stuck. It actually affects our health, our heart health, our certainly our gut health is what all the research is leaning toward now. But it stresses our relationships. So worry. If we're staying down the path of this is what I got and I can't do anything about it, then it's going to start affecting all areas of our lives. And there's something that you can do about it. Let me just say that. There's something that you can do about it. Certainly not all of it, but a lot of it, there is something that you can do about it. So listen to this. 92% of worries are things that are just taking up mind space. Seriously, 92% of worries are just taking up mind space. This is how they break it down. 40% of the things will never occur. So for instance, recently I had a family, issue happen, and I had made up all kinds of shit in my head about how things were going to play out, what was going to happen. Never happened. Like, if I looked at the amount of time that I spent on that particular worry or the conversation and what the outcome was either going to be or not going to be, just imagine if I was getting paid, if the time that I spent worrying meant that that was going to be deducted from my paycheck, would I still worry? I'm just asking. 30% of things are things that have happened in the past. So I've been divorced a couple of times. I've had some really lousy relationships. Thank goodness I've got a great relationship right now. But I've had some really lousy relationships. I've had sexual abuse, mental abuse, all of that stuff. Now, there's nothing that I can do about that. All I can do is learn from it. There's no reason for me to worry about it or get anxious about it. Certainly, things like if I'm fearful of my safety, then certainly I can use that past experience to do something different in the future. There's things that I can glean from my past, but there's no reason for me to stay there. That takes up 30% of my time. Again, if that was a deduction from my paycheck, then would I waste my time in the past? I mean, no. 12% of things are possible health problems. So I recognize that a lot as I'm getting older. You get together with friends, and what's the topic of conversation is the latest ache or pain, or the latest time that my sister, my brother, my aunt, my uncle, somebody that I knew, it was in the hospital, and I'm reflecting that back onto myself. 12% of things are of possible health problems. Now, what can you do about that? Get to the gym, change your diet, get some sleep, possibly add supplements to your regime. I just recently started on Viome supplements, and I have honestly never felt better in my life. Anyway, 10% of worries are petty worries about others. How many times do you stay focused on somebody else? What somebody else has that you don't have? What somebody else said about you or about somebody else that you are stuck on? Let them. People are going to talk. People are going to talk. Let them. Why do you have to stay stuck there? So 8% of worries are things that you really need to be concerned about. 8%. So 92% of your time, when you're thinking about things that could possibly have happened in the past, you're stuck on a conversation that you had with somebody days ago, months ago, weeks ago. 92% of your time when you're stuck in your head on the hamster wheel of life isn't going to happen. I'm just saying, it's not going to happen. I didn't make this up. These are statistics that our amazing researchers at, prominent universities are all working on. I'm not making this up. 92% of the thoughts that are stuck in your head about worry and anxiety are not going to happen. Is it time to take back your time? Is it time? I'm just saying. So, as I said earlier, not all worry is bad. But what can you do about it? What if not all worry is bad, then how can you move these thoughts? How can you move the thoughts of the things that you're worrying about into solution, or into helping you to move forward, or helping you to get closer to your goal, your dream, or, as I've said earlier, that next best version of yourself? There's a lot of growth left in me. And I know for certain there's a lot of growth left in you. So let's look at this. How can we move into action? How can we take our worry and move us into action? So worry can be used for a solution to get you into movement, but you've got to pay attention and you've got to observe. You've got to get curious. Get curious about the thoughts that are in your head. Don't just let them take over your day, your night, and your sleepless nights. Don't just stay stuck there. That's what. Why? Why do you want to stay stuck there? What's it getting you? If you're staying stuck in worry, it's getting you something. Attention, it's getting other people that are enabling you to stay in that stuckness. What are you getting out of staying stuck? Look at this. Think about what the worry is, what the lesson in the worry is. For instance, this is simple. This is simple stuff, and it usually is a lot of simple stuff. So just go with me here. Not sure if you paid a bill. I'm on a trip. I am in Maine right now. I went from Warsaw to Amsterdam to California to Boston, back to San Diego. Then I went from San Diego to Boston to Maine. Now I'm heading back in a few days to Warsaw. What do I do with my bills? How do I make sure that everything's paid? It's up to me to put things on automatic payment. It's up to me to take care of that. I shouldn't have to worry about things when there is technology out there that can help me to create a life where I don't have to worry about whether a bill in another country is being taken care of. So that's up to me. I don't have to worry about that. What's one thing that you could do that you could put on autopilot so that you don't have to worry about it? So I've had this happen to me. I've been to the doctor and I have a follow-up appointment, and they give you that little card as you walk out, and then I take that card and I put it somewhere. I forgot to put it in my calendar, and I don't know what to do. I'm out about living my life, and I'm like, all of a sudden, like, oh my God, when was that appointment? Okay, again, Google Calendar. Make sure to put that stuff in your calendar. Make sure to find an app that can help you to set alarms for you when things are supposed to happen. Like I have a bell that rings an hour before I'm supposed to be somewhere. Then again, a half an hour before I'm supposed to be somewhere. Then again, 10 minutes before I'm supposed to be somewhere. And honestly, I love it. It sounds like a pain in the ass, doesn't it? Having these little bells go off all the time. Honestly, I love it. It helps to keep me on track and helps me to stay out of anxiety. What is it that you can do to help you stay out of worry and anxiety? Let's see. Worried about a recent ache or pain. Schedule your physical exams. I've never done this before, and this was something that my husband taught me. He is like clockwork about getting his yearly blood work done so that he doesn't have to worry. He can kind of gauge as he ages what he needs to pay attention to. So make sure that you are scheduling these appointments. Make sure that you like the doctor that you have. If you don't, then change them. You pay their salaries. So make sure that you have aligned yourself with physicians and people that can take care of your health, that are looking out for you. Make sure that you have somebody on your side that you enjoy talking with, or you look forward to, or you feel that you can tell them anything. Make sure, take care of that stuff. Worried about slipping on the ice? Like I'm freaked out about slipping on the ice here in Maine. I only brought boots with leather bottoms, and we're in a snowstorm right now, and I'm constantly freaked out about, slipping on the ice. What can I do? Make sure that I'm taking supplements that are going to strengthen my bones, that the diet that I'm on is health focused, is bone strength focused. Make sure that I'm working on my balance, that I've got this little balance thing that I stand on. I don't even know what it is. It's like a balloon that I stand on, and it helps me to work on my core strength. Make sure that my back and my leg muscles are strong. These are things that I have control over, that I don't have to then end up in worry and anxiety and fear and live less of life because I end up in a fearful place. So what are those things that you can do to stay out of your head and be proactive about taking a look at what these worries are and what are the things that you can do to protect yourself or to get rid of this? Make sure that you are, this is just another form of self-care. I kind of hate that word self-care because I think I don't know. I do things for myself because they feel good. I go to the gym because it feels good. I eat right because it feels good. I don't necessarily consider that self-care. I think self-care for me, it's just, I don't know. It just isn't a word that I like to use about the things that I do that make me feel good. I take a bath, like my bath on Sunday night is like a ritual. It's a ritual. What rituals can you or habits can you instill in your life so that you are focused on how to take care of yourself so that you can let go of the 92% of worries that are never going to happen? They're never going to happen. Okay, so let's take a look at some things that we can do. Take a look. Listen, you got to get a journal out. You got to get a journal out and write down the worries as they happen, because I promise you that you will see a pattern. You'll see a pattern of a person you're worried about, or a thing that you're worried about, or a past event that you're worried about, or an anxiety that you have. You'll see a pattern. And once you see a pattern, right, because it's no different than a goal. It's no different than setting a SMART goal, where it has to be specific, measurable, attainable, has to be amount of risk in there, and has to be timely. If we can't measure it, if we can't see it, then we're not going to address it. It's time to address these things, ladies. We got to address this stuff. Don't leave it up to somebody else. This is all on you. I can't do it for you. And if I could, I wouldn't. Because you got to put your big girl pants on and take care of this stuff. So take a look at buckets. Think of this as buckets. What is unimportant? What is unlikely? What are you uncertain about? And what is uncontrollable? What's out of your control? Because sometimes there are people that are around us that are going to try and take you down. You can see it on social media every day, that the bots are out there trying to instill negative thoughts, keep you stuck, keep you feeling bad about yourself. That's out of your control. So don't freak out about that stuff. Get out of it. Get out of it. Okay, so enough about that. Unimportant. Ask yourself these questions. Okay, so time to write this stuff down, okay? Unimportant. How important is the thing that I am worried about? How important is it? What's going to happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah, most likely, you're not going to die. Most likely, right? 92% of things are not going to happen. Use the rule of 5. I think this is great. And I use this all the time. I use this on my clients a lot because it's kind of like right in your face. The rule of 5 is the thing that I'm worried about going to matter in 5 years? Is this thing that I'm worried about going to matter in 5 years? You know, most likely not. What about 1 year? What about 1 year from now? Is anybody going to remember this conversation 1 year from now? Is anybody going to, am I going to be affected by this worry or this thing that I'm stuck on 1 year from now? What about a month from now? Is it going to matter a month from now? What? Okay, so a week. So we've got 5 years, and then you drill it down and keep drilling it down. And oftentimes you'll see how preposterous things are that you're stuck on. I mean, it's almost laughable. Like, I've laughed out loud after I've done the Rule of 5 exercise. And you've got to, so this is a great thing. So take a bad experience, a real live bad experience, not one that you're making shit up on in your head. Take a look at a really bad experience that happened to you. We all got them. Just one. You don't have to bunch them all together. I just want one bad experience. Now, this thing that you're thinking about, compare it. Is it going to be as bad as that? Is it going to hurt as bad? Is it going to be as bad? How does what you're worrying about compare to this? And then the next thing is, because let me tell you, that bad experience, if you took a look at that, if you took the time to journal about that, there was a lesson in there for you. I mean, let me just say this about that. The biggest lesson is that you made it through. The biggest lesson is that you're here listening to this video right now. That's huge. Don't take that stuff for granted. Is it worth your time? If you were getting paid, if that was a withdrawal from your bank account, all this worry that you're doing, would you still do it? Would you still do it? If you saw all those minuses for every minute, every hour, every week, every month that you spent worrying about this, and that your bank account was shrinking because of it, would you still worry about it? Or would you figure out a path, a thing that you can do that could help that dissipate? 92% of things are never going to happen. What's unlikely? What's unlikely to happen? So we've got these buckets, right? Look at the buckets. Unimportant, unlikely, uncertain, uncontrollable. Unlikely. What's unlikely to happen? You can write down all these worries. That's why I say get a journal out. Write down all these worries, the things that you're worrying about over and over again, because there's going to be a common thread. There's going to be a link to them. Got to get curious. What's unlikely? Bad things happen. Does that mean we need to focus our energy on the what if instead of being present? What if you didn't think about that and just thought about where you were right now and what you were doing and who you were with, who's sitting across the table from you that you should be in dialogue with? Where are you? What are you thinking about? What's unlikely to happen? We're putting things in a bucket. Maybe do like a column, a spreadsheet where you're just checking these off so that you can see. You got to see this stuff. What's uncertain? Many of the things we worry about, we don't know how they will turn out. We don't know how they'll turn out. I don't know how a conversation is going to turn out with somebody that I have. I've got shit made up in my head about it, about how I think it's going to come out, but I don't know how that person's going to respond to me. So do I need to have a conversation that's never going to happen because I don't know how they're going to respond? Maybe we need to allow before we can act. Is your worry uncertain? Is it uncertain? What about uncontrollable? Oh, it's uncontrollable to think that I can have everything lined up in my life and know for certain that it's going to play out that way. I mean, that's kind of silly. Like, I don't even know what is my flight going to be canceled on Sunday because of the snowstorm? Do I need to worry about that? Quite honestly, no. I'm either going to go to the airport or I'm not. They're either going to reschedule my flight or they're not. On the way over here, my flight got canceled. What do? I don't need to go into panic. There are professionals out there that can help me. Reach out to them. Don't get stuck on, you have to let go of the wheel sometimes. This is out of my control and it's okay. I'm just along for the ride. And what am I going to learn about myself by letting my hands off the wheel and letting some other professional take over? Maybe I need to learn how to ask for help. I talk about that a lot. What are you worrying about that is uncontrollable? And if you find yourself stuck after putting your worries into these buckets, these 4 buckets, if you find yourself stuck, then start asking yourself questions. Start asking these worry questions. Why are you here? Like for those of you that follow me, I love my mirror in the bathroom. I'll walk right into the mirror and say, all right, why are you here? What do I need to learn? What is this all about? Because I need to move. I need to get on with my life. What's going on here? Mary, come on. What do I need to learn? I read an article once that said that every worry and every hesitation we have and every past event that we've been through has something in it, has something to teach us. A lot of times we just don't take the time to learn because we're just on to the next thing, on to the next worry, on to the next event, on to the next conversation. How can you stay still enough to take a look at this stuff and use it for good? What exactly? Clarity, specific, SMART goal, right? What exactly am I worrying about? What exactly is it? And then, what is it that can be done, if anything? What is it that can be done? What's the one thing? What could be the one thing that you do? Make a phone call, ask for help, write about it, do a brain dump about those thoughts that are going through your head. What's the one thing that you could do? Will this really matter? Use the rule of 5. Will this really matter in 5 years? I'm just saying, these are things that you can do. And have you made this up? As I said earlier, 92% of things are never going to happen. How much of that is shit that you made up in your head? How much of it? Be honest with yourself. Because we all, we're humans. We all want to hug now and then. We all want to be in pity party mode. We all, I've been there. How much of this is shit that you made up in your head? Be honest with yourself. So I had bad things happen to me in my past. That doesn't define the person who I am today. There's nothing about me that's the same person. My cells have changed. My body has changed. Everything has changed. Why do I need to keep being that person? Look to the solutions. What's the one thing that you could change? What's the one thing that you can do? What action step could you do to get you into movement? If we're forward thinking, then we can't also look back at the same time. Commit to doing this one action. This is where we fall short, is in the commitment process. So find a coach, find a mentor, your best friend, your whoever. Find somebody that's going to hold you accountable to making movement. Oh, keep track of it yourself. I mean, whatever works. And then celebrate. Celebrate that you did something different. Celebrate that you are going to use these tools to keep you out of worry, to help keep others out of worry. Share this with people, because I'll tell you, there's a lot that's going on in the world. We need to refocus our energies on the things that we have control over. Get involved in a group that is something that you're passionate about. If you're freaked out about what's going on in the world, in the government, in your life, then find a group, become an activist. Do something which will get you out of worry and into a more positive, more forward-thinking thoughts about your life and your world. Because I'll tell you, you're pretty freaking amazing. You're here. You made it here. That's enough to celebrate. So work on this worry, this fear, this anxiety. What is it that you can do to help change the trajectory of your life, of your family's life, your community, of the world? Get involved in life and stay out of the 92% that doesn't matter. So I hope this helps. Next week, because it's Valentine's week, I'm going to talk about love, loving yourself, being able to love others in a different kind of way. So join me right back here next week for Love Yourself. See you then. Hope this helps. Leave messages in the comments. I know a lot of you people are emailing me. Let me know what else you want me to discuss on these Midlife Chronicles, because I am here for you and I've got a lot to share. So I'll see you back here next week. Ciao.